Stop. Don't move. Before your next blink, answer this. Do you believe life is supposed to be fair? Do you think if you're good long enough, the scale evens out? Do you assume explaining your side will make people do the right thing? If yes to any, here's the dangerous truth you haven't swallowed yet. Fairness is a story told by winners after the contract is signed. The world doesn't obey fairness, it obeys leverage. It doesn't answer please, it answers pressure. Niccolo Machiavelli learned this in rooms where a pause cost a province. Power belongs to the one who sets the terms, not the one who hopes for mercy. You don't have to become cruel. You do have to stop begging the weather to change and start owning the thermostat. This isn't a sermon against goodness. It's custody of time, edge, and outcome. You will still be kind, but on schedule. You will still be generous, but with gates. You will still be human, but under law. In the next minutes, I'll give you the hard swap. Trade "that's not fair" for a system that moves rooms without noise. Gravity, mystery, law, doors, deadlines, silence. When these are installed, fairness stops being a debate and starts being a byproduct of clear terms. If you're ready, type law and breathe once, low and slow. Feel your chest drop? Good. That's the old habit leaving. Start with a 10-second sovereignty protocol. Use it at every threshold: office, call, conflict, stage. Second one, exhale like weather, not prey. Second two, drop your pitch one note. Calm outweighs urgent. Second three, widen your gaze by an inch. See terrain before faces. Second four, still your hands. Motion confesses need. Second five, slow your step by a third. Rushing is begging in shoes. Second six, tilt once, then level. You heard, you are unmoved. Second eight, name the arena. Definition or dominance. Pick one. Second nine, create two doors. Every ask becomes a choice. Second 10, one beat of silence. Then deliver 5 to 7 words. Final, not friendly. You think that's theater. It's geometry. Arrange tone, tempo, and terms, and people flow to you like water downhill. Now we rip the fairness script out by the root and replace it with things that survive heat. First replacement: fairness is not a lever, terms are. That's not fair invites debate, doors end it. Full scope at my rate or reduced scope at yours. Silence. You are not arguing morality, you are presenting physics. If they try to pull you back into stories, cut back to doors. Fog is where leverage drowns. Clarity is a life raft you throw to yourself. Deadlines aren't cruelty, they're mercy in numbers. Offer closes Friday. Funds trigger phase 1. No essay. Because is a bribe you pay to be allowed to be clear. The moment you make your clock negotiable, you train chaos that your calendar rents cheap. Keep time sacred. If they cry urgency, you reply with policy. Rush exists at the rush rate. Third replacement: fairness yells, power quiets. 2 seconds before questions, 5 seconds after decisions. Silence is not absence, it's the invoice that makes truth show its face. Ask, hold. Decide, hold. Watch budgets walk out into the open. Watch the actual decision maker reveal themselves. Watch the heckler run out of oxygen. Fourth replacement: fairness begs to be seen. Power manages exposure. You don't announce every plan to prove transparency. You announce stones. Ship today, funds Friday, next opening Thursday 10. Short, dry, timed. Publish outcomes, openings, rules. Everything else sells your edge for applause. Fifth replacement: fairness explains price. Power frames it. Numbers alone get cut. Numbers in a box get chosen. We can reduce scope to meet your number, or we keep full scope at my rate. You do not defend your worth in paragraphs. You change the terrain in one line and let the clock and silence help. 5 to 7 words, half speed, then nothing. The first one to fill the quiet pays. If you want examples, take a room you know. Old you sighs, explains, stays late, and feels used. Hold. Hold. You didn't become harsh, you became legible. Adults who ship crave legible. Old you narrates for 20 minutes and gifts them a playbook. Hold. If they refuse, they weren't buying, they were grazing. You just saved your week. Old you trades scope for hope. Hold. One channel, one decision. No hallway side deals. The room will call you cold. Good. Cold is controlled. Cold keeps medicine sterile. You're hearing a pattern. Doors, clocks, quiet. It's a loop. You run it at entrance to set obedience. You run it in orbit to sustain it. You run it at exit to enforce it. Entrance? Step in 20% slower than the fastest person. Eye sweep once. Exits, decision owner, line of sight. Hand still. First sentence is a verdict in 5 to 7 words. Signer present? 1 beat. Let them pay with attention. Orbit. Ask, hold. If drift appears, slice it into 2 doors. If mocked twice, don't rescue. Let the silence carry their discomfort back to them. Rooms self-correct around steady rules. Exit. Echo the decision and date. Stand. No corridor therapy. The last 5 seconds of a meeting are the legend people repeat later. Own them. Then be fair in ways that scale. Warmth after law. One controlled smile after you've decided. One clean thank you when someone meets the rule. One calm, I was wrong when data proves it. And then you weld a clause so it never repeats. You keep the heart. You install teeth. To keep yourself honest, track numbers. Feelings lie when standards rise. Gravity rate. Percent of answers that obeyed your 2 doors after 1 repeat. Target rising. Signer rate. Percent of meetings with the decision owner present. Target 80% plus. Scope seal. Percent of tweaks priced or moved to phase 2. Target 100%. Silence count. Average seconds you held after verdicts without rescuing yourself. Target 5. Exit index. Second mock endings divided by total confrontations. Target non-zero weekly. 2 dips in a row. Raise the floor. Add a clause. Close a corridor. Publish an outcome. Drills to hardwire this. Reps, not quotes. 5-word forge. 3 times today, compress a real decision to 5 to 7 words. Deliver at half speed. Hold 5 seconds. Send it that way. Your mouth will learn law. Door first. For 24 hours, answer every ask with a binary before any sentence. You're teaching people and your nerves that your reality arrives in choices, not chores. Surgical exit. This week, end 1 room at the second mock. Not angry, not moral. We're off track. Stand, leave, log what happened. Your body will learn that endings are safe. Stone Publishing. Each Friday, post 3 lines only. What shipped, next opening, rule holding. No emojis. To buy acceptance. Outcomes, openings, rules. That's it. You also need fieldcraft for fairness traps. You don't debate pain, you respect structure. Hold. Mercy without a meter becomes a subsidy for chaos. Mercy with a meter becomes partnership. You don't defend with a monologue. Silence. End. Exits beat comebacks. The Whisper Network will repeat your rule for you. The corridor coup. Side messages and back-channel votes. You answer with a link, not a paragraph. 1 channel for decisions. Silence. Coups need hallways, shut the vents, and drama suffocates. Send them low. Final. They're not threats, they're weather. Weather doesn't argue, it announces. You will feel a pang when you stop asking for fair. That pang is your old identity losing its favorite bargaining chip. Let it go. People who valued you for softness will call you rigid. People who value outcomes will call you relief. Both are accurate. Only one pays. Exit. Low and clean. Verdict first. Stop asking rooms to be fair. Make your terms impossible to misread. You will replace pleas with doors.
stories with clocks, volume with silence. You will prize stones over speeches. You will stop auditioning for compassion and start publishing rules. If this shifted your spine, write one 5 to 7 word verdict in the comments right now. Then hold 5 seconds of quiet. Feel the temperature drop? That's leverage turning on. Binary choice. Keep begging fairness from people who love fog, or install law so good people can breathe and work lands. If you're choosing law, tap like now. Subscribe and ring the bell for part 2, where we turn this into compliance architecture for allies and opponents without losing your soul. Send this to the friend who keeps writing essays to be treated well. Breathe low. 1 beat of quiet. Now move. Stop. Hold 1 breath. Do you still believe fairness appears when you explain your pain better? Do you think if you stack proof high enough, the room will suddenly act right? Dangerous truth. Fairness doesn't walk in on its own. It is escorted by structure. Hold. Mercy without a meter becomes a subsidy for chaos. Mercy with a meter becomes partnership. You don't defend with a monologue. Silence. End. Exits beat comebacks. The Whisper Network will repeat your rule for you. The corridor coup. Side messages and back-channel votes. You answer with a link, not a paragraph. 1 channel for decisions. Silence. Coups need hallways. Shut the vents and drama suffocates. Send 'em low, final. They're not threats, they're weather. Weather doesn't argue, it announces. You will feel a pang when you stop asking for fair. That pang is your old identity losing its favorite bargaining chip. Let it go. People who valued you for softness will call you rigid. People who value outcomes will call you relief. Both are accurate. Only one pays. Exit. Low and clean. Verdict first. Stop asking rooms to be fair. Make your terms impossible to misread. You will replace pleas with doors, stories with clocks, volume with silence. You will prize stones over speeches. You will stop auditioning for compassion and start publishing rules. If this shifted your spine, write one 5 to 7 word verdict in the comments right now. Then hold 5 seconds of quiet. Feel the temperature drop? That's leverage turning on. Binary choice. Keep begging fairness from people who love fog, or install law so good people can breathe and work lands. If you're choosing law, tap Yike now. Subscribe and ring the bell for part 2, where we turn this into compliance architecture for allies and opponents without losing your soul. Send this to the friend who keeps writing essays to be treated well. Breathe low. 1 beat of quiet. Now move. Stop. Hold 1 breath. Do you still believe fairness appears when you explain your pain better? Do you think if you stack proof high enough, the room will suddenly act right? Dangerous truth. Fairness doesn't walk in on its own. It is escorted by structure.
Machiavelli learned this in palaces where kindness without teeth turned to folklore. Rooms obey frames, not feelings. If part 1 killed the myth, part 2 builds the machine. How to replace fairness pleas with compliance architecture so people move as if they chose it. If you're ready, type law, drop your note by 1, and count 5 in the quiet. Feel the pressure? Good. That's gravity turning on. We start with 3 levers you already know, but now they become loops. Doors, clocks, quiet. Doors turn fog into choices. Clocks make time a law with numbers. Quiet invoices truth without shouting. Run these 3 at entrance, orbit, and exit until rooms forget they ever move differently. Entrance loop. You arrive slower than the fastest person. I sweep once. Exits, decision owner, line of sight. Hands still. First sentence is a verdict in 5 to 7 words. Signer present, 1 beat of silence. The room pays with attention, or it pays with delay. Either way, you stay rich in leverage. Orbit loop. Ask, then mute. Hold.
Most people reveal budget, fear, and power while trying to survive your quiet. No anger, no speech, just law. Exit loop. Echo the verdict. Add the date. Stand. No hallway therapy. One channel for decisions. Endings are the only part of a meeting people remember accurately. Own them, and the Whisper Network will repeat your rules for you. Now we stack 5 hard truths that bury the fairness script for good. They choose the cheapest path to their goal. Your job is to make your path the cheapest, even when it costs more money. Doors do that. The path that protects timeline and risk is cheaper in reality than a bargain that bleeds weeks. Truth 2. Whoever defines the decision wins the decision. If the room treats this as a vibe, you lose. If you treat it as a binary, you win. Decision today is scope version A or B. The room can dislike your tone and still follow your geometry. Truth 3. The calendar is a louder argument than your essay. Offer closes Friday. The clock makes flattery irrelevant. People respect what schedules them. Truth 4. Silence reveals faster than charm. 2 seconds before questions, 5 seconds after decisions. Quiet is a centrifuge. It spins out the owner from the audience, the budget from the story, the sabotage from the doubt. Truth 5. Exits teach faster than comebacks. A clean end at the second mock rewires a room in one move. They can argue with your paragraph. They cannot argue with your absence. Let's convert this into 3 compliance circuits you'll run on contact: allies, opponents, and crowds. Ally circuit. Allies want clarity and credit, not speeches. Give 1 line, 1 metric, 1 deadline. Deliver version A by Thursday 10. Then witness delivery in public, short and dry. A shipped, under 2S. Don't gild. Credit creates momentum. Gilding invites theater. Opponent circuit. Opponents obey scarcity and consequence. Scarcity. Access is scheduled, not begged. 2 windows weekly, publish them like weather. Consequence. First mock restated, second mock ends. Next opening slides. Price increases. No third. Inconsistent punishment is not mercy. It's training for rebellion. Crowd circuit. Publish 3 things only weekly. Outcomes shipped, openings available, rules that don't change. Outcomes, openings, rules. You are not mysterious to punish people. You are consistent so adults can breathe. Fieldcraft for fairness traps you'll see every week. The sympathy bid. You respect the story and return to doors. Hold. Mercy without a meter becomes a subsidy for chaos. With a meter, it becomes partnership. The transparency ambush. You don't hand out blueprints. Hold. If they refuse fit, they're not buying, they're grazing. The be a team player tax. Hold. 1 channel. No hallway debts. The public probe. Silence. Stand. Leave. The room doesn't need your essay, it needs your spine. Advanced doors for hot rooms. Keep these in your mouth, low and final. Standard timeline at standard rate. Discovery follows deposit. 1 channel for decisions. Install 3 veils that stop fairness from being weaponized against you. Veil 1. Hide your plan B until plan A locks. Advertising escape routes kills urgency. Publish 1 path, 1 clock. Alternatives live behind glass until a trigger. Deposit or failure opens them. Veil 2. Hide internal debates from external ears. Outsiders snack on your splits. Fight in the tent, ship as 1 voice. 1 rate, 1 rule, 1 mouth. Veil 3. Hide predictable mercy. Don't publish your strike count. Keep the latter private, make the results public. They meet the stone or they meet the price. Now metrics, because your feelings will lie the moment you get stricter. Door obedience. Percent of decisions made inside your 2-door frame after 1 repeat. Target rising. Clock obedience. Percent of commitments made before your published deadline without last hour thrash. Target rising. Silence yield. Average seconds you held after a verdict before new information surfaced. Target 5, 7 in volatile rooms. Signer rate. Percent of meetings with the decision owner present. Target 80% plus. Exit ratio.
Number of second mock endings divided by total confrontations. Target non-zero weekly. 2 dips, your ladder is rusting. Oil it. Drills to fuse this into reflex. Drill 1, veil to verdict. 10 entries today. Exhale. Low note. Scan. Still hands. Slow step. Tilt once. Kill hedge. Name arena. 2 doors. 1 silent beat. 5 to 7 word verdict. Do it until you're bored. Bored means it's in bone. Drill 2, price without paragraph. Drill 3, surgical exit. And 1 room at second mock this week. Calm, dry. We're off track. Stand, leave. Log how fast the room invites you back correctly. Drill 4, stone drop. Friday, 3 lines only. What shipped? Next opening, rule holding. No emojis to buy acceptance. Evidence is a quiet megaphone. Let's apply this to 3 common arenas so it sticks under heat. Negotiation. They low anchor and appeal to fairness. You answer with doors and clock. We can match your number with reduced scope or keep full scope at my rate. Silence. If they push twice, end. You are not punishing them. You are protecting outcomes. Leadership. You don't debate philosophy. Outcome by date. Constraint locked. Then you credit delivery publicly in 1 dry line. You train the culture to seek clarity, not sympathy auctions. Family. Yes, here too. You return a door and a clock. Low voice, 1 beat of quiet. Your home learns the same language your boardroom does. Choices over chores, clocks over complaints. You will be called rigid by people who feasted on your softness. Accept it. Rigid is predictable. Predictable is easy to collaborate with. Standards are oxygen for serious people. They make rooms safer because no one has to read your mind to respect your time. Exit, low and clean. Verdict first. Stop chasing fairness with essays. Build the environment where choices are clear, time is law, and silence does the heavy lifting. Publish outcomes, openings, rules. Resist the urge to explain when a door will do. If this part straightened your back, write a 5 to 7 word verdict in the comments right now. Hold 5 seconds of quiet. Feel the temperature drop? That's leverage replacing hope. Binary choice. Keep negotiating with fog or install law so good people can breathe and work lands. If you choose law, tap like. Subscribe and ring the bell for part 3, where we weld status without bragging, punishment without noise, and absence that weighs more than presence, so power stays yours even when you do nothing. Share this with the friend who keeps writing essays to be treated well. 1 breath, 1 beat of quiet. Move, stop, freeze for 1 clean beat. Do you still believe fairness arrives because you deserve it? Do you think being visibly right forces rooms to behave? Do you assume if people truly understood, they would finally do the fair thing? Dangerous truth. Power is not the light you shine, it's the heat you regulate. Machiavelli learned this where reputations were made by glances and unmade by pauses. The person who governs the frame doesn't ask for fair, he engineers it as a side effect. If you're ready to weld the last pieces, status without bragging, punishment without noise, absence that weighs more than presence, type built, drop your note by 1, and count 5 in the quiet. Feel the pressure rise? Good. That's leverage turning on. You've already killed the habit of begging. You replaced please with doors, clocks, and quiet. Now we finish the machine, so fairness stops being a prayer and becomes a byproduct of structure. The finish requires 3 fusions: how to look important without saying you are, how to enforce consequence without heat, and how to make silence travel farther than speeches. Status without bragging is precedence. Not followers, not watches, not volume. Precedence. The story of how things go around you. Repeated so often, the room obeys it to save time. You build precedence with 3 stones: outcomes, openings, rules. Every Friday, what shipped, the next window, the law that didn't move. Short, dry, time-stamped. Prototype shipped Tuesday. Openings Thursday 10. Evidence is a quiet megaphone. Say less everywhere else. Mystery plus reliability is the rarest signal in the market. It makes fairness cheaper because nobody has to litigate who you are. They can scroll your stones. Position is status with a spine. Enter at O2, never at O. Inevitability, not doorbell. Sit where you see the door and the owner. Line of sight is line of power. Phone face down, away from your hands. You're not on call for your insecurity. Stand to end, not to speak. Standing is a gavel. Save it for the close. These are not vibes. They are geometry that makes other bodies self-correct. Rooms that feel your inevitability will try less theater and do more work. That looks like fairness because it is clarity. Precedents are the teeth. 5 you will defend under heat. And at the second mock, never explain price, negotiate scope, no signer, no meeting, process follows deposit. Publish outcomes, not essays. Enforce a dozen times and you won't have to recite them anymore. The whisper network will. That whisper is unpaid staff. Punishment without noise is math. You were trained to think enforcement requires anger. It doesn't. Anger is amateur theater. Math is adult. The quiet ticket book runs top to bottom, always the same. Restate policy once. Move the item to phase 2. Shift the clock. Offer closes Friday. Shift the price. Rush at triple, standard at standard. End the room at second mock. You don't spike the ball. You don't sermonize. You don't send 10 follow-ups. Gravity doesn't explain why you fell. It registers the fall and moves on. The fairness you wanted appears because rules applied equally leave less room for pleading and more room for work. Absence heavier than presence is echo, exit, evidence. You don't go dark to avoid conflict. You go dark to make progress legible. Exit for a defined window. No corridor therapy, no reassurance pings, no anxiety tours. Evidence lands on schedule, deliverable, or invoice. Repeat this loop until your silence acquires a reputation. When you're quiet, things move. People will stop poking during your absences because it never pays. That's what you thought fairness would feel like, not being harassed to be generous with your time. It's not fairness, it's architecture. Live rooms will still test you. 3 stacks you'll meet en route. The grandstander. They call your policy unfair in front of the crowd. You resist the urge to defend your soul. 1 beat. Stand. Leave. Exits beat comebacks. The room will recite your rule next time so they don't lose the meeting again. The back channel saint. They DM to make it fair for everyone with a side deal. You seal the corridor. 1 channel for decisions. Link. Silence. Coups need hallways. You shut the vents. The sympathy lever. You respect their story and return doors and clock. We can reduce scope to your number or keep full scope at my rate. If they resist twice, phase 2 or exit. You didn't harm them. You refuse to be hired by theater. Now weld fairness where it belongs, after law. You can be merciful without training rebellion. Mercy with a meter. 1 surprise upgrade this month for aligned partners. Inside scope, on schedule, announced like weather. 1 rush approved this month, priced at triple, on your terms. 1 admitted error, paired with a clause that bans the repeat. Rarity turns kindness into lore. Predictability turns it into a coupon. Metrics to keep your ego sober when people call you rigid. Translation, you stopped being exploitable. Status orbit. Number of meetings that began with your 5 to 7 word verdict in the first 15 seconds. Target rising. Price integrity. Percent of work at or above floor. Percent of rush priced at triple. Target 100%/rising. Absence signal. Deliverables that landed on schedule without mid-cycle check-ins. Target rising. Rule echo. Times a room repeated your law before you did. Target rising. That's precedence paying you back. Consequence consistency.
second mocks that led to endings divided by total mocks, non-zero weekly. 2 dips in a row, your ladder is rusting. Oil it. Drills. 7 days to set the weld. Day 1, doorway weld. 10-second sovereignty protocol at every threshold until it bores you. Boredom means bone. Day 2, verdict reps. 3 real decisions compressed to 5 to 7 words. Half speed. 5 seconds of quiet. Send.
Day 3, gate blast. Publish openings Tuesday 2 through Thursday 10. Decline 1 ungated request. Offer paid diagnostic. Do not explain why. Day 4, policy spine. Write your 5 precedents on 1 card. Day 5, surgical exit. End 1 room at second mock. Calm, stand, leave. Log how fast correct behavior re-invites you. Day 6, stone drop. 3 lines only. What shipped, next opening, rule holding. No emojis to buy acceptance. Day 7, mercy with a meter. Approve 1 upgrade inside scope or 1 rush at triple. Announce like weather. You'll be accused of being controlling. Translate that. Predictable. Predictable is collaboration's best friend. People can work with you without mind reading you. The fairness you longed for in others becomes reliability in you. You didn't make the world kinder, you made your corner lawful. 3 final fairness traps to close for good. The scoreboard confessional. They wait until your Friday and lift your floor. Never externalize your strain. Publish stones, not stress. The theology detour. You quote a guru to justify rules. They debate the guru, not the rule. Keep it in the room. Door, date, deposit. If they need religion to obey gravity, they're tourists. The auto pardon. You publish your strike count, 3 lates before fees. They plan for 2. Keep the latter private. Let the results be public. Now we lock the creed. Say it low so it sticks. I do not beg for fair. I make it cheap to do right and expensive to do wrong. I publish outcomes, openings, rules. I price speed. I end at second mock. I do not meet without a signer. I do not reveal process before deposit. I don't sell my piece to buy your approval. I choose terrain. I choose timing. I choose terms. Exit clean. Verdict first. Stop asking for fairness from rooms that profit from fog. Build geometry so clear that fairness happens because error costs more. Doors over essays. Clocks over apologies. Silence over performance. Publish stones. Hold the rule. Leave when mocked. Return with precedent. If this 3-part forge straightened your spine, write 1 5 to 7 word verdict in the comments right now. Hold 5 seconds of quiet. Feel the temperature drop? That's your law replacing their hope. Binary choice. Keep performing pain for fairness or bring law that lets good people breathe and work land. If you choose law, tap like. Subscribe and ring the bell so the next play arrives on time. Share this with the person who keeps writing paragraphs to be treated well. Final, low and final. Breathe once, count 5, let quiet carry your rule across the room. That's not noise, that's gravity.